At the start of the summer, radio stations across the country teamed up to launch the Get Waterways campaign. It's about raising awareness of the dangers of swimming in open water. Last year, 254 people died in our rivers, lakes, seas and reservoirs, and we want to pass on information and some top tips to stay safe if you're planning to enter open water during these summer months. July and August, unfortunately, each year see a peak in accidental drownings, and in just recent days, radio stations across the UK have been reflecting on further tragedies.
A multi-agency search operations continuing at Crummock Water in Allerdale this evening as emergency crews search for a person who's got into difficulty in the water there. Police were first called at around 1:10 this afternoon. They've been joined by the fire service as well as ambulance crews, mountain rescue and the Coast Guard. Roads around
a major search and rescue operation is ongoing in Hartlepool. It's reported a teenage boy swimming in the sea got into difficulties at about 7 o'clock last night. The RNLI, the Coast Guard and other emergency services are at the scene. We've been talking about the dangers of open water swimming this morning.
Investigations are underway this morning following the death of a teenager in the water at Salford Quays. Emergency services scrambled to the scene yesterday afternoon where the 19-year-old man's body was discovered. Our chief reporter Tom Danbach is there for us this morning.
A bunch of flowers has been laid at the edge of the water here. Police tell me their thoughts are with the man's family and friends and the people who witnessed the tragic events. Over the hot weekend, fire crews were called to several water-related emergencies, and with the sunshine beaming down once again, they're reminding the public about the risk of open water swimming.
There are urgent warnings this afternoon not to be tempted to swim in places like rivers, lakes and quarries, with 2 bodies pulled from water in South Yorkshire and North Derbyshire in the past 24 hours. Derbyshire police have recovered a body from a lake at a disused quarry at Doveholes. They were called out last night. Earlier, a body was found in the search for a man in the water at Sheffield's Crooks Valley Park.
Searches are continuing this morning on the lake at Pugneys Country Park after reports of a person struggling in the water. Emergency services were called yesterday at around 1:15 p.m. An initial search took place, but no one was found. Our reporter Hannah Norbury is at the scene this morning.
Underwater searches are continuing this morning.
Elsewhere this morning, a teenage boy has died after getting into difficulty in the River Eden near Stonyholme. Police diving teams were part of a major search over the weekend. A separate search operation has been underway for a man who went missing in Crummock Water on Friday.
A flavour there of the incidents that have been experienced by communities right across the country. Hashtag Get Waterwise for the very latest on those through social media, and check out your local radio station for those key messages. And of course, it's not just the families who deal with this situation. Across the country, there are people who come face to face with these incidents, sometimes on a daily and weekly basis.
It's devastating and quite haunting, to be honest with you. I've witnessed 3 drownings on my reservoir sites over the last 4 years. Each has really been quite upsetting. Clearly for the families it's been absolutely devastating and traumatic. But from a personal perspective, having to sort of witness bodies being recovered from reservoirs, having to meet the families and you know, offer our condolences, but also see the devastation on the faces is really something that personally will stick with me for the rest of my life.
Okay, well, let's reflect on those many incidents that we've been hearing about over the last few days now with Charity Director Lee Hurd from the Royal Lifesaving Society. Lee, you must have been looking at your phone, hearing updates on the radio across the weekend of these incidents and thinking, well, we knew that these incidents would be likely to occur. And unfortunately, we've seen a real spate of them over the last few days.
Yeah, unfortunately, when most people hear about the sun coming, they're elated and can't wait to get out with their families. I have a slightly different response because I know that when we're going into the weekend, when we're going to have warm weather, we know, unfortunately, there's going to be some families that have devastating news over the weekend. And one family is too many in terms of that news, and there's been a number of them this weekend. And the issue we have is the warm weather, children splitting up from school as well. A lot of euphoria. We've been waiting for this weather for a long time. So we appreciate that people want to get out and about. But you just have to see the devastation in what's happened this weekend to understand the impact of somebody losing their life to drowning, in which is probably one of the most enjoyable days of their lives, that enjoying the water.
Absolutely. And we've made the point throughout our Get Waterwise campaign that we understand that people, when they have a warm day, will seek water. It's almost, it feels like a natural response, but the risks and the dangers are there. And the messages around those risks and dangers need to be sort of given to the public and ensure that the public understand what those risks and dangers are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been enjoying the water with my family this weekend in the garden, and we've been out walking around water. It's incredible. And when it is so hot, it has been a scorcher. Of course, there's a desire to try and find ways to cool off. But it's so important people understand the devastation and the impact of going into cold open water. The majority of us learn to swim in a well-regulated swimming pool. It's normally about 30 degrees. The water temperature in the UK, even on the hottest days in the hottest months, rarely gets above 18 degrees in open water, and it can be much colder in lakes and quarries with deep water. Our ability to swim in the swimming pool does not translate to those cold open water environments. If people aren't used to swimming in them, if they're not aware of the conditions, which can be ever changing, especially in coastal or fast flowing water, then there are likely to be instances, because we do have a lot of people around the UK now that are taking open water swimming. Mostly they're safe, they're well drilled, they have the right equipment, they're used to it, they're acclimatized to the water. If people are going out into cold open water where they're not used to it, unfortunately, it is very likely that we see people either get into life-threatening incidents, or actually sometimes they lose their life.
And a quick word as well, because obviously we've got a number of days of this super hot weather between now and probably next weekend. Already our reporters up and down the country reporting that the people are back in the water in the very areas where we've had these tragedies this weekend. What's your message specifically for them?
It's incredible, isn't it? I can never quite get my head around that. It's just our desire to get out and enjoy the summer, enjoy the day, enjoy the water. I think my only message would be that think about the devastation that it's causing on your families. If you do have young children, especially teenage boys, please do your part in reminding them of the dangers associated with the water. And Google the impact that it has on the families that have lost somebody to drowning, such as Becky Ramsey, that's just highlighted the petition through government about more water safety education on the curriculum. All you have to do is talk to Becky and see the story through doing it for Dylan and the impact that it's had on her over the last decade. That should be enough to remind people that actually, if they're going out to enjoy the water, they should do it safely. They should go to lifeguarded areas. They should be supervised. And if they are going to do it, having the right skills to be able to understand it. I think that's a crucial message for people.
Lee Hurd, Charity Director at the Royal Lifesaving Society, thank you for your time today. We'll continue to spread those messages through our Get Waterwise campaign.
Thank you.
Now, Lee mentioned Becky Ramsey. Her petition was discussed in Parliament just at the start of last week, calling for greater education around water safety in our schools. The debate was chaired by the Newcastle MP, Kat McKinnell, and I caught up with her just after the debate to find out how it went.
Well, I'm really pleased that you're raising awareness in this way. I think it's so important. The number of accidental water-related deaths in the UK is really sobering. From 2009 to 2020, almost 4,000 families have been impacted by fatal accidents over the last 10 years. Last year, 30 people under the age of 20 died from accidents in the water. So as we move into the summer holidays and more people will be staying in the UK to go on holiday, there'll be lots of people looking to go swimming and enjoy the best of the summer weather. But obviously dangers come with that, and we do need to raise awareness and educate about those dangers.
It's no doubt that we will see, unfortunately, deaths this summer as a result of accidental drowning. You raised many of those points within the debate. The government's response was that essentially measures that are currently in place are enough and no more necessarily needs to be done. How did you respond to that?
Well, the government did say that water safety has been part of the curriculum since 1994, but many of the groups I met with, including the Royal National Lifeboat Institution, Swim England, the Swimming Teachers Association, They all said that it's not happening in every school, and where it is, it's often being delivered at a poor standard. So the petitioners are calling for enhanced water safety education, because to be educated about the water and its dangers is the best way to prevent accidents. We have more children dying in the water than on bikes, yet we've got campaigns for cycling proficiency. We've got more than in fires, yet we've got campaigns for smoke detectors. So I think the time has come now to ensure we have that same preventative education for children about the water.
I just wanted to end on that because, of course, we've got this perfect storm, haven't we, of these warm summers that we're having, but also many people who obviously aren't going on foreign holidays this year. Do you think there is actually a real danger that we might see that predicted peak come to pass, that there could be even more accidental drowning deaths this summer?
So, jumping into a river in England is very different from swimming in the sea on a beach in Spain with a lifeguard. And I think a lot of people will be experiencing a different kind of summer to the one they may be used to. So educating about dangers in the sea, but also dangers in inland water, dangers in rivers. And, it's really important that people are aware of all different types of water and the danger that they can present. And sometimes on the hottest days, the cold water is actually what can create many of those dangers. So absolutely, we need to make sure the awareness is raised, but also that knowledge is gained, and ultimately make sure every child has that knowledge. Just like when you cross the road, you know how to stay safe. We need to ensure children are equally as armed with that information when they go near water.
Catherine, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for raising so many of these issues within the Westminster Hall debate earlier this week. And thank you for your kind words about our Get Water Wise campaign as well.
Brilliant. Thank you.
A special thanks to all our guests who've appeared on the programme today. Hopefully it's been an enlightening conversation. Hashtag Get Waterwise on social media for the very latest from your local radio station. Do check them out on air as well. There are some brilliant organisations, of course, who are right across this particular topic. The Royal Lifesaving Society have got a brilliant bank of resources. Organisations as well like the RNLI will keep you up to date with everything as well. Hashtag Get Waterwise and stay safe.